This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozloff.
And I'm Adrena Sinclair. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Now at 9, questions still this morning after a woman is shot and killed at a nightclub in Stone Park. What we're learning about the moments before those shots were fired.
And a trade war escalating as countries hit back with their own tariffs. A look at the impact so far.
Take out those sunglasses. The sunny and warmer weather is sticking around today. We're almost hitting 70 degrees. Woo! Can't wait for that, Laura. It's already getting better out there.
Yeah, it's a Monday. We're adjusting to the time change, and the weather is going to be delightful. So I think productivity is probably going to be relatively low. But hey, soak it in. I mean, warmest day of the year so far. We're chasing after records, too. That was set back in 1955. That is 70 degrees, forecasting a high of 68 here today. Abundant sunshine. It's 45 degrees right now. Feels like it's 43. Aurora, 41, 44, Joliet, and low 40s from Valparaiso, LaPorte. Next couple of hours, sunshine, a gentle breeze picking up. It will turn breezy here this afternoon. Everyone's going to be feeling those warmer winds today from the southwest. By 4 today, it's sunny, 66, stays mild heading into the evening. Now tomorrow, tracking a cold front, so it will be a much cooler day, especially right along the lakefront. We'll talk about those cooling changes and what this means for the rest of the week coming up here in just a little bit.
All right, Laura, we'll see you soon for those details. Thank you. Let's begin now with your nonstop news. The Stone Park police are remaining tight-lipped about that deadly shooting at a nightclub early Saturday morning.
A 21-year-old woman from Little Village was killed. Her family says a security guard at the club pulled the trigger.
Darius Johnson live, the Stone Park Police Department in the western burbs. Darius, good morning.
Ladies, good morning to you. We are expecting an update from Stone Park Police at some point today. However, the last time we've heard from them was Saturday morning when they told us they were conducting a death investigation at Mansion Live nightclub. Take a look. The family of 21-year-old Zoma Pacheco says Friday night she was out with her boyfriend at the nightclub Mansion Live near Manheim Road in Stone Park. Her boyfriend says they were dancing, having a great time at the front of the club when a fight broke out inside just before 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Zoma was behind her boyfriend when she was shot once in the chest and died. The family showed a cell phone video of the moment the shot was fired by a man in all black. We've frozen that video before the shot was fired. It's unclear from that video if that man is the security guard who works at the club. Zoma was the oldest of 5 and her family says there is nothing that can bring her back.
First day, I thought it all felt like a dream. Everything happened so fast. I fell asleep with her sweater on, the sweater I bought her. And I was hoping, like, I didn't wake up with her sweater on. Like, I was hoping that it was a dream.
Mansion Live put out a statement saying they are heartbroken by the incident. They say their thoughts and sympathies are with the people touched by the tragedy and are doing what they can to support local authorities. Again, this morning, we have questioned Stone Park Police. We sent an email to them earlier this morning around 6 a.m. asking them if that security guard is the person in custody and if that security guard is a person that fired shots, if they're questioning anyone. So we hope to learn all of that information at some point today. We're live in Stone Park. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
Darius, thank you so much. Well, a man died after police say he fell onto the L tracks and was hit by a train. It happened at the Blue Line's Western Station around 9 last night. Police say the 40-year-old man was walking on the platform when he fell. He later died at the hospital.
And in the Grand Crossing neighborhood, officers found a 25-year-old man who'd been shot several times. Police say they found him just before midnight near 76 in Langley, and that man was then taken to the hospital where he later died. Police are looking for the person who fired the shots.
A woman charged with a hate crime is back in court at this hour for an incident inside a Panera Bread in Downers Grove. Police arrested Alexandra Shostankowitz in November after a viral video showed her confronting a Palestinian-American couple and throwing her coffee at them. During her arrest, police body camera video shows her saying she did nothing wrong. She pleaded not guilty during a hearing in December.
Starting today, American farmers face new retaliatory tariffs on many products that they send to China. Now, China is imposing these tariffs in response to the 20% tariffs President Trump placed on all Chinese goods. The measures going into effect today, though, include an extra 15% duty on chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton, and then 10% on items like beef and soybeans. Some American farmers say they're really worried that the escalating trade tensions going on right now could make it harder to sell their products abroad. And this comes as Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's newly chosen successor is standing by Canada's retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. And as Derek Waller reports, President Trump is continuing to defend his aggressive tariff policies against America's trading partners.
We're going to have jobs, we're going to have open factories, it's going to be great.
President Trump downplaying concerns about the possibility of a recession, but also not ruling it out.
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big.
The new comments come after a week of whiplash on Wall Street, triggered by threats to implement new retaliatory reciprocal tariffs against Mexico and Canada on April 2nd, including those on auto imports.
The next Prime Minister of Canada.
Canada's incoming Prime Minister, former banker Mark Carney, commented on the possibility of a trade war Sunday.
The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada.
Patience appears to be wearing thin on Capitol Hill, especially among Democrats.
Tariffs are an important tool in the toolkit. I think the way he's handling tariffs is the way he's handling everything else right now.
And the possibility of a government shutdown Friday has also added to the economic uncertainty.
Could happen. I mean, the Democrats want that. They want to destroy the country.
The president is backing a Republican bill to extend funding through the end of the year. That includes an increase in defense spending. But it's unclear whether House Speaker Mike Johnson has enough votes to pass it.
I think we're really going to be learning over the next 24 hours what's in it and what's not in it.
And the Republican-led House is expected to vote on that government funding bill as early as Tuesday. Derek Waller, CBS News.
Derek, thank you. And sources tell CBS News the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is preparing to lose an additional 1,000 employees as part of President Trump's federal job cuts. NOAA previously fired 880 employees last month. Well, still ahead in Eye on Your World, a search for a college student who went missing while vacationing in the Dominican Republic. We've got an update on efforts to find her.
And new developments in the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as Israel cuts off electricity to Gaza.
9:10, welcome back. As we keep an eye on your world, officials have launched a land and sea search in the Dominican Republic for a missing college student. Sudiksha Konaki is a student at the University of Pittsburgh, and authorities say the 20-year-old went missing on Thursday from the popular tourist town of Punta Cana while on vacation. Now, she was last seen on video going to the beach with 7 other people, and right now police say they're interviewing a man she spent some time with.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio left for Saudi Arabia this morning to meet with Ukrainian officials as part of negotiations to end the Russia-Ukraine war. President Donald Trump says, quote, very big things will come from the talks, and he said Ukraine needs to show it wants peace. Keep in mind now, Ukraine is fighting off a Russian invasion. As these talks continue, Russia's advancing in the Kursk region, and Russian strikes killed dozens in Ukraine over the weekend. Israel has cut off electricity to Gaza.
The country's energy minister says it's to ensure the return of all hostages. You can see some streets here in Gaza are being lit only by LED lights that are powered by generators there. Officials say the lack of electricity is also affecting an important plant that produces drinking water. The cutoff comes as talks over the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continue, and it's also 1 week after Israel stopped humanitarian aid from going into Gaza. Immigration agents arrested a Palestinian activist at Columbia University who helped lead protests demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. Mahmoud Khalil graduated in December. His lawyers say ICE agents arrested him Saturday night. Agents told his lawyer they were following a State Department order to revoke his student visa, but his lawyer says he's a permanent U.S. resident with a green card. Students say his arrest is definitely a concern.
Freedom of speech is under assault, it feels like everywhere in this country right now, which is tragic. I don't think you can scare Americans into submission. I think that most people will see this and stand up with Mahmoud and see this as hopefully an opportunity to wake up and realize the assaults on our democracy that are happening.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson claims the arrest is, quote, in support of President Trump's executive orders prohibiting anti-Semitism. They also claim he, quote, led activities aligned with Hamas, but did not give any details about any charges or alleged crimes. Now, this comes after the Trump administration pulled $400 million of federal government grants and contracts from the university, citing allegations of anti-Semitism. The university was at the forefront of U.S. campus protests over the war in Gaza. The university's interim president told Reuters the school is working to address the Trump administration's concerns.
New York's governor has issued a state of emergency after brush fires swept through parts of Long Island. Those fires began Saturday afternoon. Here's some video there. Suffolk County officials say the fires spread and then sparked additional ones nearby. One firefighter had to go to the hospital for burns, but is doing better now. And as of this morning, they say the fire is around 80% contained.
Let's turn to Laura Bannon now for a look at our forecast. And boy, you can't really beat this one for the week of March. What is it, 10th? Not bad, right?
March 10th.
Thank you. Look at that. I remembered.
Yeah, right. That's a huge accomplishment.
It really is on a Monday morning.
Like,
yeah.
But what a way to start the week, though, with these temperatures.
Yeah, near record warmth in deck for today. And we do have at least a fairly warm week expected. Things will be turning a little cooler tomorrow, but late week, we're going to go back up into the 60s and 70s out there. Next weather maker is not on target to arrive until Friday night into Saturday. So that gives us a lot of dry time here this week. Sunshine. That cold front tomorrow is going to usher in some of those cooling changes, especially near the lake. Friday night, though, showers and thunderstorms. Still need to pinpoint exact timing with this one. It's still several days out, but right now it appears that most of Friday is going to be dry. But out ahead of this system, very windy, warm, highs going up into the 70s with showers and thunderstorms arriving after dark on Friday going into Saturday morning. Saturday does not look like it's going to be a washout type of day. In fact, it's going to be very warm, but we do keep that shower chance, at least for now, in the morning hours. No rain. I mean, not a single cloud in the sky out over the lake right now. It's 45 degrees, feels like 43. Everyone really recovering nicely after a fairly crisp, chilly morning. Aurora, one of those colder spots that got down to freezing. It's now 41, 42 Valparaiso, and 46 Midway. A lot of clear skies out there, likely going to stay this way through the entire day. We're going to pull in at least a few clouds tomorrow, but we'll be watching this cold front dive in through the day on Tuesday. So we likely open up with temperatures that are going to be the warmest point of the entire day, 40s and 50s, but we'll be watching for that wind shift to happen. And as it does, it pulls in those chilly lake waters there, and that's going to push first a drastic cool down lakeside tomorrow and further inland too. Definitely going to be feeling those cooling changes throughout the day. Some more clouds, but still no rain expected in the short-term forecast. High today of 68 degrees, breezy and bright, wind southwest between 10 and 15. We keep the breeze going for tonight, which will keep temperatures from dropping off too much. In fact, we're looking for a low tonight of 46 degrees out at Chicago O'Hare. Tomorrow, 50. Falling through the day. 7-day forecast, a nice recovery late week by Friday, highs going up into the 70s. Let's go over to the First Alert Traffic Center for a check of this Monday morning traffic report. Sunglasses are a must as you head out.
Sunglasses and a whole bunch of extra time. Yeah, two things happen this time of year, everybody. The weather gets better and the traffic gets worse. Everybody's thawed out. They're out there. We've got sunshine delays and that smell in the air. Could it be? Yeah, construction. That's what's going to be coming down the pike here. Got ourselves a crash in Will County on the eastbound side of Interstate 80. And look at that parking lot just past Hobolt. Just bail out at Hobolt, US 60. You can get back on at Larkin and just kind of bypass this whole mess here. Lane blockage reported. Nobody's on scene yet, so I don't have the specific lanes for you. Core Expressway is pretty busy. Got ourselves some potholes, and this is other things that happen. Outbound Edens at Dempster in the left lane, and as a matter of fact, I'm also seeing, I'm going to do this manual. I'm going to pull this map down here. Look at this delay that just popped up on the southbound side, right around Old Orchard. Looks like the pothole patching team has gone up, turned around, come back, and they're in lane or lanes southbound at Old Orchard. So keep that in mind as you're traveling around. If you come up on a big-time delay like that, chances are, if it's not a crash, they're fixing their divots. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, you might be feeling that lost hour of sleep this morning after daylight saving.
Yeah, last night was tough falling asleep. But
a lot of people.
Yeah, right, exactly. But one psychologist at Harvard University says the time change could actually be good for us. She says people tend to have more seasonal depression in the winter, and more daylight makes all the difference.
Low mood, lack of interest, enjoyment, unusual activities, low energy. We also see in the winter, people maybe along with those symptoms having more sleepiness, like wanting to stay in bed more cravings for carbohydrates. The amount of exposure to light can affect the production of serotonin, which is a chemical that affects our mood and helps to regulate our mood.
The doctor says if you're struggling to adjust, you'll want to focus on creating a routine and stick to consistent bedtimes and meal times. Well, daylight saving is just another sign that spring is definitely not too far away, and for people in Minnesota, it's time for a much-loved tradition.
Miriam Mose has a look at how it's never too early to fill up on some maple syrup.
Walks outside right now are bound to be messy, but worth it.
We weren't able to do much snowshoeing this year. It wasn't enough snow, and so if you don't have enough snow to enjoy the snow, at least let's get it over with and get on to spring.
Steve and Diane Meyer felt rejuvenated taking a walk through Carper Nature Center on Sunday.
Get my body clock used to the hour change, so I heard that was a good thing to get out in the sunshine at least 15 minutes a day.
And they spotted the signs of spring along the way.
Yeah, just trying. I saw my first bluebird today.
Another sign you can't miss here.
So we're gonna tap right about in there.
The dozens of buckets hanging from maple trees on site collecting sap.
Slight angle up.
Alan Maloney has been taking adults and kids on maple tree tapping tours as a naturalist here at Carpenter Nature Center for the last 30 years. And he enjoys letting visitors give it a spin.
Keep going a little bit more.
With nature becoming a classroom for these curious kids.
Yes.
It's like water. Yeah.
Yep, it looks like water, doesn't it?
Recent weather did slow down sap production to start the season off.
We haven't collected a whole lot just because our weather's been a little iffy with a big snowstorm that we had right after we tapped trees.
But now these visitors are seeing so much more sap flowing with ideal weather for tree tapping.
Below freezing at night, above freezing in the morning, which is what you want your trees to do to get that sap moving.
Tough treks through the trees and muddy shoes are the trade-off to get sweet syrup. But flowing sap is also a sign of better things to come.
Maple syrup season always feels like the first start of spring around here.
So if you're just itching for a trip to Minnesota, they'll be doing more tree taps, including one on Saturday, March 22nd. Well, a major matchup at the United Center this summer with the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever face off. Two big stars set to face off too when tickets go on sale.
Ladies, you know a restaurant is doing something right when they start with just one item on the menu and build a loyal following off of that. We're here at Chiro in the heart of Oak Park, and coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to be introducing you to Chef Chiro, who is from Italy, and he's got some amazing Italian dishes. They have since expanded their menu a bit. You can get take and bake. You can come in and dine in this darling little spot. So again, coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll introduce you to the chef himself and be tasting some of the dishes as well. We'll see you right after the break.
Well, Chicago Sky fever is rising with ticket sales starting tomorrow for two summer home games. The Sky's Angel Reese and the Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark will go head-to-head on June 7th and July 27th. They'll face off at the home of the Chicago Bulls. It'll be the first time ever that a WNBA game will be played at the United Center. And you could see more freshly shaven heads around Chicago soon.
Yeah, it's all for a very good cause, something we see every year when the St. Baldrick's Foundation hosts their shaving events to raise money for childhood cancer research. Here's a look at one of the events from over the weekend. St. Baldrick's has been going strong for 25 years with these events, and they always make you gasp when everyone's hair is cut off for a good cause, though. There are several other events set for this week. On Wednesday, they're having one at the Crown Point High School in Northwest Indiana. On Thursday at Chicago's Mount Carmel High School, and then Friday there were events at the Franklin Park Fire Department and also at Fado Irish Pub in River North. Saturday, Pollyanna Brewing in Roselle is hosting a shaving event as well.
And on Saturday morning, the Chicago River will turn this bright shade of green. Boats will spread the eco-friendly dye in the water for the much anticipated St. Patrick's Day celebrations. It is a tradition that's been going on now for more than 60 years. And Metro wants to help you celebrate St. Patrick's Day Day. The transit agency is providing extra service next weekend. Metra is adding some express trains on 11 of its lines this Saturday, March 15th for the 70th annual Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade. And it's providing extra service on the Rock Island line on Sunday for the 46th annual Southside Irish Parade. To learn more, log on to www.metra.com.
And speaking of St. Patty's Day, just in time, Krispy Kreme adding these 4 new flavors. They're the St. Patrick's Day Taste a Look collection. There's Pot of Gold, Over the Rainbow, Choco Shenanigans, and St. Patty's Swirl. They say maybe, you know, they're just too pretty to eat, but I don't think that's a thing. I'm totally okay with devouring them. It's good. Well, more than 400 people took the stairs yesterday to raise money for the American Lung Association.
They included families, friends, and firefighters.
2, 1.
All participated in the annual Fight for Air climb at the Oakbrook Terrace. In all, teams made it up 30 floors, totaling 660 stairs to raise money and awareness about lung disease. Several firefighters made the climb wearing full gear.
It's tough. It's tough. But we all did it. We had 10 guys here. We all did it. So we're all still alive. Good for keeping guys in shape, and this is what we do every day.
The event raised at least $115,000 for the American Lung Association. The money will help support programs benefiting more than 1.5 million people in Illinois living with lung disease. And next at 9:30, hundreds of dining hall workers on strike at Northwestern University. Why they are walking off the job.
Plus, we have an update from Stone Park Police on that deadly shooting at a nightclub over the weekend. And the husband of a woman found dead in a South Loop condo building is now in custody. What we expect to happen in court today as we wait to learn whether these charges are connected to her death.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, I'm Audrina Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It is 9:30 on your Monday. Thanks so much for staying with us.
All right, if you're starting your Monday off a little down, you need to pick me up after losing that hour of sleep over the weekend. Well, how about temperatures near 70? Today's going to be our warmest day of the year. Dana, I agree. That will do it. That'll do it. The sunshine, too, to go with it, Laura.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. I mean, not a single cloud in the sky. This is over DeKalb, showing the same. Blue skies, sun's up, and it's feeling pretty nice. We're really going to see these temperatures take off in a big way today. 45 degrees currently with a wind that's from the southwest at 5. Eventually going to see some building breezes, and as we see the heat really starting to build, those numbers are really going to climb up near 70 quickly. It's already 50 degrees in the Loop, 47 Mundelein, Aurora 41, 46 Joliet, low to mid 40s to Northwest Indiana. The high today 68 degrees. We're coming oh so close to a record that was set back in 1955, and that was of 70 degrees. We'll watch the temperature climb today and then eventually fall tomorrow as a cold front moves through. 50 degrees, completely different setup for tomorrow, but it looks like it's short-lived. We've got some more 60s and 70s ahead in your 7-day forecast.
All right, looking forward to it, Laura. Thank you.
And now to an update on a story we've been following all morning long regarding a woman who was shot and killed inside a West Suburban nightclub over the weekend. Police in Stone Park just got back to us in the last 15 minutes, and they confirm it was a security guard who fired once, hitting the 21-year-old from Little Village. They say it happened when a fight broke out early Saturday morning inside Mansion Live. She was dancing at the time. Police say the suspect was taken in for questioning, but was released last night as they continue to investigate.
And also breaking overnight, a woman shot while walking on the sidewalk in Streeterville last night. The Sun-Times reports the woman was visiting from Connecticut and was walking with her 11-year-old son back to their hotel after dinner. That's when she tells police she heard gunshots, felt pain, and realized that she'd been shot. This happened right near Columbus in Illinois. The woman was taken to the hospital to be treated and listed in good condition.
Chicago police are searching for a suspect in a deadly shooting in River North. Now, this was the scene at Ontario and Franklin early yesterday morning. Investigators say the 31-year-old victim and another man were arguing when the other man pulled a gun and shot the victim several times in the chest. Police say officers questioned 4 witnesses but they were not very cooperative.
Well, there are new developments this morning in the case of a woman found dead in the stairwell of a South Loop condo building last year.
Her husband, now in custody, arrested on a warrant out of Michigan. Marissa Perlman is live outside the Layton Criminal Courthouse at 26 in California, where the case will be heard in really just about an hour and a half, Marissa.
Oh, yeah, a lot of interest in this case this morning. Dana, Audrina, good to be with you. Yeah, so this arrest again comes months after Caitlin Tracy's body was found inside that South Loop apartment building. But at this point, it's still not clear whether this arrest, her husband's arrest, has anything to do with her death. Now, here's what we know leading up to this point. Now, court records show police arrested 46-year-old Adam Beckerink, a prominent Chicago tax attorney, on an outstanding warrant on Friday for aggravated assault. Beckerink's arrest is related to domestic violence and assault charges filed in Berrien County, Michigan. Now, that is where Caitlin Tracy owned a home in the New Buffalo area before and during her marriage to Beckerink. Court documents show Beckerink didn't appear at his pretrial hearing for those charges back in October. And days later, when the trial was supposed to start, he was being held here in Chicago for questioning related to his wife's death. The warrant that led to Friday's arrest is believed to be connected to those missed court appearances in Michigan. Now, we know Beckerink was taken into custody at the South Loop condo, the same building where his wife was found. This morning, he's expected to appear for a hearing on extradition back to Berrien County, Michigan. We know at his first court appearance on Saturday, a judge ordered him held in jail at least until his next hearing, again scheduled for just an hour and a half from now. Caitlin Tracy's parents declining to comment this morning about this latest arrest. Again, no criminal charges have been filed connecting Beckerink to his wife's death. We'll see what happens when court starts here this morning. For now, we're live at 26 in Cal. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Marissa, thank you. And right now at Northwestern University, scores of students are supporting a strike by dining hall employees. Hundreds of cooks, cashiers, baristas, and dishwashers who work for the Compass Group walked out this morning. Some of the key issues they cited include job security or lack of, wages, and increased pension contributions. Now, in response, Northwestern issued a statement. They say the associates represented by the union are vital members of the Northwestern community, and Compass is a trusted partner of the university. They understand the importance of the ongoing contract negotiations and hope for a swift and equitable resolution. Now, last week, students brought university officials a petition with over 550 signatures in support of the workers.
This evening, some neighbors will rally to end what they call harassment against the people living at the encampment at Gompers Park. 39th Ward Neighbors United say they are demanding an end to criminalization of homelessness at the park on the city's northwest side. The organization says it celebrated the success of last week's accelerated moving event, which offered park residents long-term housing resources, but they say those solutions take time, and as long as homelessness continues to be a growing problem in our city, the public parks must remain free and available. They plan to rally this evening outside Alderwoman Samantha Nugent's office. And Cook County Clerk Monica Gordon says she is doubling down on her office's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Gordon says her office has seen a surge in vital records requests for birth certificates and marriage licenses. She says it's likely immigrant families and same-sex couples are afraid of losing their legal protections. At a news conference today, Gordon will announce the creation of a new management position in her administration. It's aimed at ensuring equitable access to government services.
Well, something old is new again today in West Suburban Aurora. This used to be a nearly century-old abandoned warehouse. Today, it's opening as a modern apartment building with all the latest amenities there. It's part of a plan to revitalize downtown Aurora. The apartments include in-unit laundry, stainless steel appliances, balconies, and pets are invited as well. Well, civil rights leaders, politicians, and activists marked 60 years since Bloody Sunday. The demonstration they held was yesterday in Selma, Alabama, and lawmakers were there speaking about unity for the country.
We have to come together. We have to put down the harmful rhetoric that we see come from as high as the White House these days. We have to put down the division, and we have to come together. We have to come together as a people with a common goal of making America better for everyone that's here in this country.
Bloody Sunday was on March 7th, 1965, when police severely beat marchers trying to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. They were walking from Selma to Montgomery to support voting rights. The march was one of many efforts that eventually led to the Voting Rights Act. To remember the day yesterday, people walked that same bridge and also gathered for a breakfast in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Coretta Scott King. Well, as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, some mechanics are on a mission to ease some of the anxiety in the repair shop, how they're driving change.
Try not to let the worst case scenario get to you. In today's Mental Health Minute, we're talking about strategies to tackle the what ifs so you'll reduce your anxious thoughts.
Well, it's going to be a nice day to get outdoors. Highs going into the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees. How long the warm weather will last in your First Alert forecast coming up after the break.
In today's Jumpstart, we are in Oak Park, highlighting some of what that village has to offer.
And there's so much, from locally owned shops to wine stores and restaurants, really a bit of everything. This is a perfect week to get out and explore, and Jackie Kostek is giving us a look at an Italian restaurant that's been serving their cuisine for a few years. Hey, Jackie, good morning.
Dana and Audrina, good morning to you. Yeah, I think this was sort of unintentional, but we ended up being in sort of the Italian pocket of Oak Park because we just showed you the wine shop right next door. And then this is called Ciro, and it's owned by Chef Ciro, who's behind the counter right now. One thing I really wanted to show you was this photo of Chef Ciro with his grandmother, who was nicknamed Nanella. And that's actually how this all started, with one simple Italian dish called the Nanella. And they really built up a following from that one particular dish. So I'm here with Chef Ciro this morning, who is whipping up amazing Italian dishes. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jake.
What part of Italy are you from, just to start?
I'm from a little town between Amalfi Coast and Napoli. My town is very small. We're talking about 2,000 people.
Okay, gotcha. When you look at that photo of you with your grandmother and then think about this restaurant that you've built, how do you feel? I mean, you really sort of based one of the main dishes off of how she used to cook for you.
Well, she would teach me how to cook from maybe I was 8 years old, just born. She had the deli shop, and she was in 1670. For the first 10 years, that's most of the time that I spent in the kitchen with her. So the smell of the flowers, the eggs, I was always covered with those ingredients every day, because she will make fresh pasta every day in the kitchen, to the client.
Which is what you're doing here, right?
Absolutely. She was a great believer in hospitality. People will line out the door, and she will offer like flowers and waters and cigar to men. And the line the next day was even longer. So
I love it. Well, keep doing your thing.
Absolutely.
You're going to bust out some of these.
We're about to bake the Nanella, so in a couple minutes.
The Nanella, which is, yes, I love that it is based off of your grandmother. They have a whole case up front, which is all of the take and bake items. And so you can sort of interact with Ciro in several different ways. You can either come and get the take and bake. You can dine in. It's a BYOB restaurant, which is perfect because they're right next to the wine shop, which focuses on Italian wine, so you can come in and get some wine there, or you can order online. So they've got a lot of different opportunities. Oh, you've got the focaccia now too. What are we looking at, Chef
There we
Ciro?
go. This is in-house. This is basically bringing here all the flowers from Italy and make food just as it's done at home. And this is the concept of Ciro.
Oh my gosh! And
Very
look at
few
that
ingredients,
olive oil too.
a little bit of Molten salt, wild oregano, and this is our focaccia.
Oh, that looks so good, and it's on a perfect little focaccia plate too, isn't it? It's the tiny little plate.
You
want
to make it cute, right?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
And basically, right now we have the Nanella.
The Nanella, okay.
First dish I have it created here.
Yes.
And if you go throughout the southern part of Italy, each region like Calabria or Campania, this is the southern lasagna.
Okay.
That is eaten throughout all the Sundays. All the grandma make those little tiny meatballs by hands.
The little tiny meatballs. And everything is basically imported from Italy,
As much as they can, region by region.
Yes.
That's how you make exceptional food.
Yeah, there's a massive bag of flour underneath the counter over here, imported from Italy. So
that's how a pasta is made. We also sell fresh pasta, and again, beautiful extra virgin olive oil. This is the Nanella. It's an amazing dish.
Chef Ciro and the gnocchi over here.
A little lemon zest to emphasize the basil flavors, black pepper. Pasta's made in the house. Gnocchi, as you can see, they're made right now. Fresh. I mean, we do that, tend to do that like almost every day.
You got a fork here, Chef?
Absolutely. We should have a fork. Being a racist, you know.
Right. because I can't. And look, they're actually whipping up the potatoes over there. They're peeling the potatoes, which is going to go into the fresh gnocchi. You can come hang out with Chef Chiro any night. You can get reservations. They have about 3 seatings. Obviously, it's a very small restaurant, so you got to get it well ahead of time. Oh, and then there's the tiramisu too. Yeah. You can't have an Italian restaurant without the tiramisu. I got to have at least one bite of this because this is the Nanella. Can I go for it?
With the meatball, of course.
With the meatball. I got to get a meatball in there. Okay. Chef Chiro, thank you so much for your time this morning. People have to come and check you out.
Please.
Oh my gosh.
And have a little bit of our tiramisu. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh,
Bon
my mouth is
appetito.
watering. For real.
Does it make you feel energized?
Jackie's I think she likes it. Just based on that jumping around there.
I do. It's really good. It's really good. It's hot, it's fresh, it's delicious. Chef Chiro leads with the hospitality, but yeah, the food does not follow too far after that.
Absolutely.
So
We're not
good.
inventing the wheel here. We're making food just like home.
Yes.
Simple as it is.
That sounds
Less
fantastic.
Is more, right?
He said it. Less is more, but more is delicious. Okay, back to you guys.
All right, ciao, Jackie.
Now.
Ciao. All right, March is International
Yes.
Women's Month, celebrating the achievements of women worldwide.
And in London, there's a repair shop, and it's filled with only female mechanics, giving the male-dominated auto industry a little tune-up, we can say. And at this female-powered shop in London, you know, it's kind of wild because you don't expect to walk in and see all female mechanics, but it's definitely turning heads. Mechanic Laura Kennedy founded Spanners with Manners, the city's first all-female garage, and it shows that gears are kind of shifting across the pond.
Do people ever confuse you with someone else and think you're not the mechanic?
They haven't been here before, definitely. But you get, hello mate, you all right mate? And you come out and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm ever so sorry.
Who are you?
Yeah, what are you doing in there?
And in case you're wondering about the shop's name, the Spanners with Manners, spanner is the word they use in Britain for a wrench. I love to see this all-female shop because so often, you know, there's a stereotype of like we don't know anything we're talking about when we walk into a repair shop. I know I've been taken advantage of, I feel, for not knowing enough, and just to like have that empowerment to be like, listen, we can do this too. Maybe not me, but they can.
You could too if you wanted.
Yes, I could.
If you learned how to do it,
trained
we
mechanics, breaking
could.
stereotypes. I love that.
You know what else is breaking stereotypes? This weather.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because usually in the beginning of March, we're dealing still with cold temperatures.
Yeah,
Usually.
we're going to get a little cold this week, but we're going to worry about that part later. Focus on today, as it is going to be a breezy, bright, warm day. In fact, we're chasing after a record that was set back in 1955. The high was 70. Today, I'm forecasting a high of 68 degrees. Tomorrow, a different setup. It's still going to be very nice. We'll be down to the 50s in the morning hours, but as a cold front comes through, that's going to prompt for a cooling change through the day tomorrow, and it looks like it's going to be short-lived. So we do have a couple of cold nights, at least through the midweek, before a warm-up follows suit for the later part of the week. And out ahead of our next weather maker, Friday night into Saturday morning is when we'll start to see some more showers and thunderstorms. But from now until then, you get this: clear skies, sunshine, and dry weather. Warming wind picking up today to send those temperatures all the way up near 70 degrees. We cool back down to the 50s tonight. This is pretty much the mildest point of the entire day as some lake-fueled cold front comes through. Winds are going to shift, and that's really going to drive those temperatures down lakeside through the day tomorrow. So going from the 50s down to the 40s, eventually into the 30s by morning hours. But we're not expecting any precipitation out of all this. Tomorrow is going to be a relatively quiet day, but the wind and that falling temperature is definitely going to be a noticeable change up, especially after today's high of 68 degrees. There's going to be a couple of areas that go to 70 today. Joliet, one of those places, the high 70. Tonight, 46 degrees, mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, 50 degrees, turning colder during the afternoon. 7-day forecast, we're going to see temperatures really turning around and eventually warming up, getting to the 60s and 70s by Friday. We're starting off the week, ending it strong. 73 for Friday, some morning showers early on Saturday, and then a little colder going into Sunday. For the South Side Irish Parade, 44 degrees. Chris, over to you.
Well, this time of the day, normally things would start to be easing up. But now that we're thawed out and the weather is better, we've got to fix the potholes that are out there, and there might be some midday road work getting in your future. Let's go ahead and show you where all the big red lines are at. Yeah, pretty angry looking stuff out there. Inbound side of the Edens, let's go to that first. Last time up I was talking about this. They moved all the way down to past Dempster now. So inbound Edens, lanes blocked as necessary to patch up the pavement there. It's backed up all the way from Lake Street. We got on the west side, or Lake Avenue, I should say, on the west side of things here. Look at the southbound side of the Tri-State. Solid, a parking lot. It's been like this all morning from the Grand Avenue curve all the way down to the 290. So that being the case, how about Manheim, York Road, or Route 83 to work around that? And guess what comes up tomorrow? Foster Avenue bridge work. One lane open either way between Pulaski and Monticello. That starts tomorrow, and the lanes are going to be narrowed down to about 10 feet wide, so big trucks are going to have kind of a hassle getting through. We'll follow it as soon as it gets set up. Have a great day, drive safe, let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
I'm Marisa Vedra with today's Mental Health Minute. When you are posed with an issue, or maybe when you're just going about your everyday life, do you find you spend a lot of time on the what ifs or the worst case scenario? That may seem scary, you might want to retreat from it, but we have advice today on how tackling the what ifs can really be helpful and take some of the fear out of it. We get that information from Dr. Laura Wohl. She's a psychologist with Loyola Medicine. So doctor, you're saying don't be afraid to go toward that what if.
Yeah, it can be really helpful to think about the worst case scenario, but we want to do it from a realistic perspective. This is a cognitive technique called decatastrophizing. Okay. So what's realistically the likelihood it will occur? Is it really 100%? And let's say worst case scenario, it did happen. How would you cope with it? Could you still experience joy and purpose in the next week, month, 5 years from now? And it could be helpful to write down that modified statement. So when the anxiety creeps back up, you have your decatastrophizing of your catastrophic thought to look back to.
And even if that thing does happen, you've got some solutions right there.
Exactly. You can cope with it.
So if you find yourself really settling into a worst case scenario, try this exercise. You could find some real benefit in the moment and possibly in the future, the next time you take a minute for your mental health.
Marie, always so helpful. Thank you so much for that. Well, for more quick ways to boost your spirit, head to cbschicago.com/mental health minute, and you'll find a lot of ideas with experts to de-stress and hopefully have a better day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories we're keeping an eye on today.
And we start with a Little Village woman who's now dead after a shooting at a West Suburban nightclub. Police say a security guard fired the shot that killed her over the weekend. That suspect was questioned by police but has since been released. Police say their investigation continues.
The husband of a woman found dead in a South Loop apartment building last fall is due in court today. 46-year-old Adam Beckerink is charged with aggravated assault. At the time, Beckerink was questioned for 2 days and then released without charges. His wife was 36-year-old Caitlin Tracy.
And at Northwestern University, students are supporting a strike by dining hall employees. Some of the key issues they're citing include lack of job security and wages and increased pension contributions. The university says the workers are vital members of the Northwestern community, and it hopes for a swift, equitable resolution to this.
All right, now look at your warm 7-day forecast. We start the week off strong with a high near 70 degrees. Then we cool things down for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But then we finish things out again Friday, windy and warm, a high of 73 degrees. Now there's going to be some showers around early on Saturday morning for the river dying. I think for the most part, most of that's going to clear out by the time we get to that 10 o'clock start time. But overall, I mean, this year we're really looking nice, 62 degrees. I can think about some St. Patrick's Day weekends when it was like negative 30 and it's awful.
And everyone's like struggling just to watch the river turn.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to be here, but not really.
Get a little booze going. I think they're all right.
Stuff flowing.
Not that we're advocating that or anything at all.
Nope.
No.
Don't be silly. Well, thanks everyone for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
Yeah, have a great day. Enjoy this warmth and sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow morning.